All right, peace and blessings, family. We're back again for another Sankore African Society uh, African Village meeting. Sankore African Society, again, is the educational department for the Mali Kilibife Nation. Mali Kilibife means the Mali Empire West. So we got a very profound topic for you today. And the topic is it's not over until we Africans win. Let me say it again. It's not over until we Africans win, which is a very profound statement about perseverance. And we have to understand it's going to take perseverance because we are a people who have been robbed of our names, our language, our culture, our religion, our folkways, our mores, our norms, robbed of our civility, our sanity, and humanity by colonialism and white supremacy. So we have to have the resilience, as we talked about last week, to stand up and face white supremacy. And when you understand, you don't just come from a people who accepted white supremacy, who accepted colonialism. You come from people who fought and fought hard. But what we couldn't understand, as Dr. John Henry Clark said, you can invite a man as your guest for dinner, and he would kill the host and rape the cook. This is the mindset of the white supremacists. So know that we fought and we fought hard. When we took across the Atlantic Ocean and took into the Americas, we fought. We had a brother named Gaspar Yenga who fought. We're going to talk about Makandao who fought. We're going to talk about Zumbi who fought. As we give homage to those ancestors, we give homage to Nat Turner and Denmark Vesey and Gabriel Prosser. We give homage to Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman. We give homage to the Honorable Marcus Mosias Garvey, and I give homage to our namesake. And we thank the Most High for giving us ancestors who fought for the rise and struggle of our people. So I greet you, my dear brothers. I greet you, my dear sisters. In the Mandinka language, we say Kota Tanate, which means I hope there's no trouble. And the response is Tanate. So Kota Tanate, Sumo, which means the heart of people back home in the Mandinka language. So as we begin, we talk about the brother Gaspar Yenga, who is in now, what's now Veracruz, Mexico. And they were enslaving the people, working them hard, working them night and day, from sun up to sundown, to can't see morning to can't see night. So the average slave or prisoner of war, if you will, would only last about 5 to 7 years, and they would just get another one. So he couldn't take the oppression and abuse. And he tried to be well behaved, but you wasn't even allowed to have family life. Because Yanga adored a young lady and they were married. And the slave master got jealous and sought to kill him and gave him, I think, 50 lashes. And he survived. And he ran off into the secret societies there and began to wage war and grab more and more of his fellow enslaved people and fought the Spanish, fought them with a power they never seen before, and they couldn't deal with Yanga. They would come in to attack, and they had all kind of guerrilla tactics they used to defeat the Spanish. It was embarrassed. They came one time with 500 troops, and he sent them back running. This went on for years until 1618. They had to do a treaty with Gaspar Yenga. And they had a free settlement, and they have a statue today and a town named after that brother because he was a fighter and resisted white supremacy. Our brother Gaspar Yenga. We had our brother Zumbi in Brazil. See, you think these FBA idiots are teaching you that we're different people, that the brother in the Caribbean is not your brother, that the brother in Brazil is not your brother, the brother in Africa is not your brother. We're all family. We took all over black people in Mexico, black people in Panama, Africans in Mexico, Africans in Costa Rica, Africans in Guyana. We took all throughout the Americas and enslaved, or took as prisoners of war, if you will, by this no good cracker. So our brother Zumbi, believed to be from Angola, grew up in Las Palmares, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Forgive me, that's these are Portuguese who uh, took the Africans from Angola and took them into Brazil. And I mean, these brothers from Angola were great martial arts. You see, capoeira, they could kick, they could do great martial arts, acrobatics, man. They would disguise the martial arts as they were enslaved through acrobatics and dance. And you see how they were doing high martial arts. See, martial arts didn't come out of no China or Japan, it came from Africa. So they were great warriors. So Zumbi grew up in a settlement, they call it a quilombo, that were escaped prisoners of war and had a town. And the white folks knew not to bring their ass up there because they did, it was going to be trouble. So he was kidnapped by a Portuguese and uh, taught by a Catholic priest. So we have to understand the goddamn Catholic Church has never been a friend of our people. We should outlaw all Catholic churches in the black community because if they did, they have raped African women, molested our children, and have been a no good evil regime for centuries to come. The Pope of Rome is a no good devil. We need to pull up his goddamn dress and see what's under there. Even though they have a black man now, but he's still doing the bidding of white supremacy. So the Pope, not the Pope, I'm sorry, the Catholic priest had Zumbi. And no telling what he tried to do to him or what he did to the brother. Our brother Mali Domasome talked about it in his book, Water in the Spirit. I think that's the name of it, how the Catholic priest tried to molest him. Not saying this happened to Zumbi, I'm not sure, but we know what these devils do. And he escaped at the age of 15. And he gave the Portuguese hell. He gave them hell. He fought against them and fought and rose up against them. And to finally, at some point in 1695, he was defeated, but he gave them hell. And after him, the Wolof rose up of Senegambian and gave him hell. They never gave up. They fought and believed in it. They say it's going to come a day when we're going to rise up and get this goddamn cracker off our back. Then you had Brother Mackandal in the 1750s. Mackandal was charismatic. Mackandal could read and write Arabic. They believe he was from Guinea or Mali, from the Mali Empire. He was a Mandinka. He was fluent, intelligent, and his arm got cut off in a sugar mill accident, and he escaped into secret societies, if you will, and would go and organize his fellow brothers who were prisoners and sisters who were prisoners of war and talk and teach them and say, one day we're gonna rise up against white supremacy. I am the black Messiah, the African Messiah. And they would, with his army, form the army, taught them military tactics. And they would raid the invaders, I should say. I'm talking about the white man. They would raid their settlements, raid their caravans, and take their goods, take their weapons. Oh, he gave them hell. He had a campaign to poison the French, because the French is who invaded Haiti. So Makandal, if I didn't say earlier, Makandal was in Haiti. And he would invade all the settlements again, and he taught them poisons, taught them herbs. He was the healer of the people. If you had any type of ailment, he could heal you with plants and herbs. And they say he killed over 6 to 10,000 Frenchmen with poison and warfare. And like what happens many times, he was betrayed by one of his own. And they captured him and they tried to burn him alive, but they say he escaped that burning. He was such a bad man and said, I'll return as a mosquito. And again, so 30 years later, when Boukman and Toussaint Overture and Dessalines defeated the French, revolution started in 1791 and in 1804. Many of the French died of malaria because they couldn't take the mosquito bites. But Makandal was the predecessor of that Haitian revolution. He never gave up, and by never giving up, they won. So with the spirit of Zumbi, with the spirit of Yenga, Haiti became the first African independent nation in the Americas. They never gave up. They said, I got to fight because it's not over until I win. There was a brother named Kofi in what is now Guyana. The brother Kofi came from Ghana, which is now not called Ghana. It wasn't called Ghana then. It was the Akan and the Shanti Empire back in those days. And the brother was brilliant. He was intelligent, but saw the oppression of his people. So what changed in one day? This was Ghana was colonized by the Dutch, and one day, as I said earlier, they would work us from sun up to sundown. They can't see morning, they can't see night. A young boy named Kwame, who was also from Ghana, what is now called Ghana, dropped down of exhaustion and dehydration. An old Dutch slave master was beating him, get up, showed him no mercy. And Kofi stepped in and said, stop, that's enough. And because he had the audacity to step to this cracker, they whipped him, almost killed our brother. So Kofi said, we can't take it no more. He rose up and started burning the plantations, crops down, burning the plantation houses down. And he caught the old no good Dutch slave master. And as the Dutch slave master pleaded, he said, I'm not going to have mercy on you as you had no mercy on Kwame. Your time is up. And struck that cracker down. And he had in his mind, it's not over until we win. And he gave a mighty, mighty rebellion against these Dutch. And these uprisings in Haiti, in Jamaica, we're going to talk about Queen Nani of Jamaica another time, in Guyana, in Mexico, in Cuba, they had to reconsider and abolish slavery. So all that spirit fought, but we're still dealing with colonialism today because these white folks haven't changed. They got the same mindset. They got the same um, treatment towards black people. But you have to have in your mind, we have to have the heart to fight, the will to stand up, the will to survive, the will to say, I'm never going to give up. Freedom or death. We're going to determine our own destiny. We're going to determine our own excellence. We're going to be self-determined, and we're going to rise up and be a mighty people. Oh, you saw it with Joe Louis. Joe Louis had the mindset of a champion. Joe Louis said, it's not over until we win. Hitler came up saying that black people are inferior. Black people are come from apes and monkeys. That the white race was the superior race to all darker people. And so he fought Max Schmeling on June 19th. Imagine Juneteenth, 1936. And they had a hard fight, and Joe Louis lost. Now, white folks love to see us play, love to see us box, love to see you run the ball down the field, nigga, slam the ball, nigga, jump, nigga, dance, nigga, run, nigga, sing, nigga. And then you American then. Oh, they took pride in Joe Louis fighting Max Schmeling. When he lost, everybody was upset. The white folk were upset. Joe Louis was hurt. He felt like he let his people down. And although we were disappointed, we still loved Joe Louis. But Joe Louis said, I just can't lay down and give up. It's not over until I win. And he went into training and refined his skills. And in 1937, he beat the Cinderella Man, I can't think of his name, and won the heavyweight championship. He worked harder and was disciplined and got a rematch. So in 1938, June 22nd, he beat that cracker in the first round, knocked him out, knocked him down over and over again, and destroyed that white boy. And they became friends later on. He understood and recognized. He didn't buy into Hitler's nonsense that he was superior because he knew after he got that ass whooping how powerful that the African man really was. Joe Louis was a powerful warrior and never gave up. If we look at the Mau Mau in Kenya under Kimathi and Jomo Kenyatta, they would fight the British, raid the settlements in Kenya. They were killing white folks and cutting white throats. They gave them such hell that they said, we got to give people independence. And Jomo Kenyatta went on to be the president of Kenya. And you look at their flag, they was inspired by the Honorable Marcus Garvey with the red, black, and green, and they have the shield and spear on the flag of Kenya. They understood that we got to stand up, we got to be resilient, we can't let these people defeat us. The Mau Mau were great warriors. We look at our sister, Asada Shakur, who studied all this. She studied Makandao, studied Yanga, studied the Mau Mau, studied all of the great revolutions. She studied Nat Turner and Denmark Vesey and Gabriel Prosser and Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman, all of our Africans who were warriors and never accepted defeat. And she was part of the Black Panther Party and the BLA. And the BLA used tactics like Mackendal, tactics like Yeager. They would hit Brinks trucks. Is our brother Baba Mikasa Ricks. I remember one time I was speaking, I said, we need to raise money. And Baba Mikasa would say, hit a Brinks truck. Oh, he would burn the prisons down, Baba Mikasa would say. And these are tactics that BLA used. They would say, you done robbed us 400 years. Many of the Fortune 500 companies are built off of slave labor. And they would hit Brinks trucks and come back and do breakfast programs for our children, medical clinics for our community. And so one day on the New Jersey Turnpike, a old racist cracker cop stopped them. And there was a shootout. And the cop lost his life. And I say, God damn it, enough of them need to lose their damn life. They abuse us and mistreat us and we don't never fight back. To my brothers, listen, you'll fight your brother, your sister. You got no problem with grabbing a chopper with switches on it and shooting your brother house up. But you'll stand there and watch him abuse you and beat you down. There are no consequences behind abusing us. But the Black Panther Party and Mama Sada Shakur said no more. They had to fight back. And the cracker died. He had a bad day that day, messing with some black people who had understood the spirit of our great warriors like Yanga and Mackendal and Toussaint Overture and Jean-Jacques Dessalines and Nat Turner. And they gave that cracker the business. And so Assata Shakur in 1973, I believe, was arrested. And although she didn't fire no shots, she didn't. She was with her partner. I can't think of the name right now. And they put her in prison, gave her a life sentence. But her grandmother told her, don't give up, baby. I don't want you getting used to this place. I had a vision, had a dream that you were free. And she didn't give up. So in 1978, the BLA broke her out of prison. And she went underground and she went to Cuba, had a good life, kept teaching as an inspiration for all of us. And she knew it wasn't over until we win. She beat the US government. They never were able to catch. They sent, oh, I don't think they didn't send CIA and special forces to come get it. They never could get that sister. She beat the United Snakes of America. She beat the United Snakes of America. So we honor that sister. We admire that sister. We adore that sister. She was a warrior and she made her transition to the ancestors last year. We did some for on X, I think, during the time of her passing. But her spirit lives on. Her spirit is with us. Her spirit, we feel her spirit every time we stand up against white supremacy. She inspires us. Long live the spirit of Mama Assata Shakur. Brothers and sisters, one of the things that I want to talk about is our brother Ibrahim Traore. Ibrahim Traore, as we talked about him last week, dealt with a general. The general name was Sekou Job. Some of you pronounce it Diop, but the Diop makes is Job, and the that's a Wolof name, or it could be a Fulani name. But since Burkina Faso is occupied by the French, the DI makes a J sound. So, like you see, my name Sunjata is spelled Sundiata, but that's a J sound. So Sheikh, I'm not sorry, Sheikh Seko Diop was a general for the old regime. He was a bootlicking, buck dancing, homogenized, slack jaw house Negro. And he was rich because the French would pay him to exploit Burkina Faso. The French would pay him to, uh, let them take the gold out and not give them their resources. I mean, give back to the people what was theirs. And he lived rich to undermine any type of progress. And so Ibrahim Traore, a young man at the time when he took over from Burkina Faso, I think he was 34, 35. And he was just a captain. This guy was a general. He's General Sekou Job. And so they had a meeting to try to, amalgamate the military structure together as one powerful unit. And the French had got this in. And he said, "Oh, yes, sir, master, I'm going to undermine him. I'm going to go do whatever he tell me to do. I was a good nigga. Job, Sekou Job, a good nigga for master." And he went into the meeting, and he came in extremely late as a tactic to make himself seem so important. And he walked in and he sat down with a smirk on his face and told Ibrahim Traore, "Look, young boy, you need to sit down somewhere. You're not ready to lead a country. You're too young. You don't have the experience, and you're a captain. Just a captain, huh?" Hoping to get Ibrahim Traore aggravated. Oh, but our brother was so smooth. And he said to him, he said, "Although I may be young, but I don't exploit my people. You've been in power 20 years. Why our border's not safe? You've been in 20 years. Why the French exploiting us? You've been a general for 20 years, and you're rich, and yet our people are suffering. You do the bidding for white supremacy, so you ought to be ashamed of yourself." And they had exchanges, back and forth, and he was getting mad. He couldn't deal with what Captain Ibrahim Traore was telling him. Captain Ibrahim Traore was a warrior, calm and poised. And then General Sekou Job said, "You better watch your mouth, boy." And he pulled out a leather satchel and slammed on the table and said, "I know who's paying you off. I know who you work for. I got the goods on you." And Brother Ibrahim Traore, Captain Ibrahim Traore said, he said, "Go ahead. Show us. Read it." And then General Job said, "No, I'll do it for later time." He said, "No, the time is now, General. Do it because you have nothing." And many times in Africa, the people who are closest to you will sell out for money. But the people of Burkina Faso, the people of Mali, the people in Nigeria are tired of, you know, being betrayed, tired of having all the natural resources, and they're going to France and Europe. And when the leaders exploit the people and people get tired and rise up, they go to France and Europe and take the wealth with them and have their bank accounts swole. And when they pass on, the money goes back to France. The people are tired of that. So he said, "Your soldiers are not with you." This is what General Job told Captain Ibrahim Traore. "So your men are sick of you. Your men are talking behind your back. If I give the signal, the men are going to take your life. Ibrahim Traore said, go ahead. And he nodded to one of his top security people, Hassan. He nodded to Hassan. Hassan stepped forward and said, General, the bribe money you gave us is outside in my vehicle. We will not take bribe. We will not stand against our leader, Captain Ibrahim Traore. The time is up for exploiting Burkina Faso. And then General Job was baffled. So he reached in his jacket, suit, and reached in his jacket and pulled out a pistol and pointed at Ibrahim Traore. Said, if I can't rule the country, then you can't either. And so all the military people that was protecting Ibrahim Traore pulled up their rifles and pointed at him, told him, freeze, drop it. And Ibrahim Traore said, no, no, stand down. And he walked towards him. Fearless is our brother. He said, you don't want to kill me because you'll make me a martyr. And by killing me, they're going to be 1,000,000, 10,000,000 Ibrahim Traorés will rise up. 10,000,000 of us will rise up. As Marcus Garvey, you heard me say last week, Marcus Garvey told the crackers, you may have got the lion, but there's some cubs in the bush. And that's what Ibrahim Traoré said. He walked towards him. And the old buck dancing house Negro, General Sekou Job, dropped the pistol. And the military and his entourage said, seize him. And Ibrahim Traoré said, no, don't seize him. If you put him in jail, it'll be too good for him. Let him go. Let him watch Burkina Faso rise up. Let him watch Burkina Faso be a success and know he was a traitor to his people. And the people will shun him and he'll die in misery because he betrayed his people. And Ibrahim let him go. That brother is a great man. So as I conclude, brothers and sisters, it's not over until we Africans win. In your personal life, you got to set personal goals and you got to fight and strive to see your goals through because times are going to get difficult. You're going to face oppositions. Murphy's Law is going to get you, as Les Brown says. You're going to want to quit. But the time you want to quit, that's the time you got to hold on and remember your ancestors, how they fought for you to have a better life today. And although we suffer and white supremacy is at an all-time high, but things are better because of the fight that our ancestor gave us, Cracker. So no matter what you want to do, if it's a business, you can do it. Write your goals down. Get up in the morning as you meditate and pray and talk to the ancestors and ask them to help you manifest that goal. Study your field. There's no reason today that you can't study your field. With AI and YouTube, you can go on and find any information you need to find out about any subject. Study it, master it, prepare for it, and work towards your goal. Don't give up. Get rid of negative people from you. Get rid of those naysayers who don't want you to do anything, who want to keep you down. Oh, you can't do it. Oh, I don't think that's going to work. Get them the hell away from you and work towards your goals and know that you are the mighty, majestic African man and African woman, and you can and you will win. Believe in your people, believe in your destiny, and know that you will be the great king and the great queen that will rule the earth again. I want to close with one uh, story. It was about an African king who wanted to test the people. And he put a big boulder in the road and watched from a distance to see what the people would do. And as he watched his ministers and officials and high chiefs walk by, they would just walk around and criticize, oh, the king can't keep the road straight. And some of the priests would come by and pray. The imams would come by and pray that, oh, Allah one day will move this rock, or Ma, or Olodumare, or Shango would come move the rock. And the rock didn't get moved. But there was one farmer who people mocked because he was so honest. His wife left him for a richer man. He had morals and principles. He was steadfast and knew that by doing the right thing, he would be successful. He never gave up on his integrity, never gave up on doing the right thing. So one day he walked by and he saw the rock, and he pushed and pushed, and it took him hours to get it out the way. But as he moved the rock, he saw a satchel full of gold. And the king walked up and said, this gold is yours because you are an honorable man. And they had a feast for the farmer. His wife tried to come back. He said, no, 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 it's all right. And one beautiful lady saw him and admired his integrity, and he went on to be married and have a happy family. And he's honored in that village today, in that nation today. So what does that tell you? Never give up on your principles. You don't got to be a crook or a low life to make it. If you believe in yourself and stay steadfast in your goals and principles, there's nothing you can't achieve, nothing that you can't do, because the Most High and the ancestors with you. Again, Mackandal, Toussaint Overture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, Sundiata Keita, Kanku Musa, huh? Are with you. Sam Cooke is with you, saying a change is going to come. Our ancestors are with you. So I thank you. I leave you in peace. As we say in the Mandinka language, Kambe Kofe, Ikasuere. Have a good evening. Thank you so much.